5 years ago, I met Taylor Swift, but not only did I meet her, I was invited to her house for the Reputation secret session. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I became a Swiftie, how I got invited, what it's like meeting the Taylor Swift and being a secret sessioner, and much more. I'm also going to be answering questions from the comments, so definitely leave them there. So, going back in time, I've been a Swiftie for as long as I can remember. I remember the first time I heard her so vividly. I was in my sitting room 14 years ago at home, sick from school. Love Story was playing on all of the music channels and I kept switching back through them all day just to hear Love Story again and again. I loved it that much. The same happened with You Belong With Me, and Fearless was the first album I ever actually bought on iTunes. Fun fact. Anyways, I always loved her, but I became a stan during the Red era. Taylor was already huge here, but I feel like when she started to dabble in pop, she became a household name in Europe. I Knew You Were Trouble was played everywhere. She performed at the Brits and in one of her best performances ever, and I jumped out of my seat when she was announced by none other than James Corden. Girl. So I became a Swiftie. She releases 1989, and that whole year just cemented Taylor as being my favourite artist of all time. So then, and this is important to the story, 2016 happens, Snapgate happens, and Kim leaks the call Taylor had with Kanye, and me and the Swifties are fighting for our lives defending Taylor. Let me tell you, we were in the trenches in 2016. We of course know now that Taylor did nothing wrong, I always knew it, but that's a story for another time. About 2 months after Snapgate, on a random evening, I was at my friend's house. I looked down at my phone and I see my light flashing. I had the thing on that when you get a notification, the flash goes off. So the flash was going off like crazy, and I look at my phone and I'm getting all these notifications from Instagram. I mean, thousands of likes. And I was like, even if I uploaded a picture, I would not be getting this many likes. So I see this notification, Taylor Swift just liked your photo. And I'm like, no way. So I look up at my friends and I'm like, Taylor Swift. And they're like, oh my god, do you ever shut up about Taylor Swift? Yes, she is my entire personality. So I didn't want to say it because I didn't really believe what I just read. So I go into Instagram and I see it clear as day. Taylor Swift just liked your photo. And I get my phone and I fling it across the room. I scream at my friend, go look at Insta, did Taylor Swift just like my photo? And she's laughing and goes, Jonathan, Taylor Swift just liked your photo. I scream the house down, I wake up the entire house, and it was a whole thing. God, she liked one from like, what did she like it? What did she like? So she went back 2 years, liked 3 of my pictures, and at the time, Taylor was the most followed person on Instagram. Moving on to exactly a year later. Taylor releases Look What You Made Me Do, the whole world is shook, and it's a month before Reputation releases. I was sitting in my college house watching TV, and I get this DM from Taylor Swift's management team. It was definitely her team, Taylor Nation. It had a blue check mark and they asked to call me. They call me and ask if I can get to London in 4 days for a very special event. I try to gather more information. So I'm like, oh yeah, definitely, but I can't just up and go to London for nothing. Can you tell me anything else? I was obviously going, just chancing my arm. They say they can't tell me anything else, but it's a once in a lifetime opportunity and I definitely don't want to miss it. So me and Vanessa up and fly from Dublin to London with 3 days notice and stay at the hotel we're supposed to be meeting at. Okay, a few things to know before we're going any further. 1, we had no idea what we were going to London for. We had a sense that it could be a secret session, but it could have been promotion for the Swift life, for all we knew. Okay, number 2, we couldn't tell anyone about anything. The only person I told was my mother, and she obviously didn't think it was real, but couldn't stop me from going. And number 3, Taylor Swift hadn't been seen publicly in a year, so we had no idea what she was going to look like. Taylor always has a specific look and style every era, as we know. So, the day comes and we have no idea exactly what we're going to do. We go to the meeting point and start to see a few Taylor Swift t-shirts. They put us all onto buses and drive. We have no phones and no idea where we're going. At this point, we may have been getting murdered, but I was willing to risk it all on the off chance of meeting Taylor Swift. So, we pull up to this mansion. I have no idea where it was and I don't really care. We get out of this bus quietly and go into the basement area. We stand there for a while and this is when a man walks up to us with this huge camera and super casually goes, so what are you guys doing here today? And the video actually ended up on Taylor's Instagram, her YouTube, her Twitter, the Reputation Stadium tour, and even on Good Morning America. It's just a video of me having a freak out.
So we flew from Ireland, none of our friends know we left the country in secret because of Taylor.
We go upstairs into this huge kitchen and it was like walking into another world. Candles lit everywhere, loads of foods and refreshments. There was M&Ms that said rep on them and cookies that she made. I didn't eat a thing because I was so nervous. The house was very American, huge open kitchen, a few security, but the security were so chill and friendly. At this very moment, it dawns on me that I'm in the same house as Taylor Swift. I'm starting to freak out like the Taylor Swift is in the same place as me. So I go to the bathroom, but I don't want to miss anything. And I start washing my hands and I hear this scream outside the door. And I'm like, no, I missed the moment Taylor Swift appears. So I'm like, okay, I gotta prepare myself. I gotta dry my hands. I'm like getting ready. And I open the door. And as soon as I open it, standing right in front of me is Andrea and Scott Swift, Taylor Swift's parents. Her parents chat to us for a while. Scott gives us guitar picks and Andrea's just chatting in the kitchen, talking to everyone. And then Tree, yes, the Tree Payne, was also in the kitchen chatting to everyone. So we met some friends called Sarah and India, and we're all in the kitchen talking to Taylor's parents, talking to Tree, and absolutely freaking out that we're about to meet the Taylor Swift. After a while, a girl from Taylor Nation goes, okay, we're going to bring you into another room now, and they lead us out of the kitchen and into this big hallway. As we're about to walk in, a security guard goes to me, hey, when you get in there, sit in the middle. And I'm like, the middle? What does that mean? So we look up and we see the armchair in the middle with 2 speakers on each side and an aux cord. So we're like, we're sitting right in front of this chair. And everyone ends up sitting behind us and around us. And I'm about 2 feet away from the chair that Taylor Swift's about to sit in. So the moment has come. Taylor Swift is about to walk through that door. At this point, the anticipation has been going on for a week. Everyone is completely silent and the nerves have gotten just too high. She has to walk in now or we'll just explode. So Scott Swift cracks the door open and he's like, where is she? And about 10 people seen what was on the other side of that door and scream. And then the scream just travels across the room. The door opens and Taylor Swift walks through the door. It was the single most shock I've ever felt in my entire life. It was funny because we had no idea what she was going to look like. Every era has a look, and she hadn't been seen in over a year, so we didn't know what to expect. She had curly hair exactly like the Look What You Made Me Do video, red lipstick, a dark floral jacket, and $3,000 Gucci red and black snake Gucci boots. She walks over me with these boots and sits right in front of me. Now, I can't say too much about what happens next, but I'll tell you as much as I possibly can. The first thing Taylor says is, welcome to the Reputation Secret Sessions. I was in such shock that I picked up my arm and pinched it for the first time in my entire life. How is this real? How did this happen? She plays us every song from Reputation, explaining each song and how she made them. When she would say the track titles like, I Did Something Bad and Don't Blame Me, before we even heard the lyrics, I was shook. And it was funny because I would start lip syncing the songs and then looking at her and making this eye contact, but I didn't know the lyrics, and then she would just start laughing because I was trying to sing along to a song that I didn't know. I think we spent about 3 hours in there just chatting and dancing. When you asked a question or made any comment at all, she would give you this direct eye contact and not ignore you, answer your question, chat. It was very casual. And she kept checking in on us. She kept asking us, do we want water, and making sure everyone was okay. It was funny. She was like, I really hope no one needs to faint, so if you need water, get water. At some point in the session, she showed us the Reputation magazine, and she played the album and she passed it around for us. So Taylor gets up and goes, okay guys, I'm going to go into the next room so you can all come in and get pictures with me. And we were all in such a daze. You would think that everyone would be rushing up to the door to get pictures, but we were actually just kind of sitting back because we were in such shock. At this point, I was in complete disbelief as to what just happened. Eventually, me and Vanessa composed herself enough to go and get our pictures. Security called us and we were waiting outside the room. My mind was like, okay, I'm about to meet Taylor Swift. Don't mess this up. Get a nice picture. What are you going to say? I was genuinely so in shock that I really wasn't taking this all in. I wish I could have taken it in, but I really couldn't comprehend what was happening. So I walk in and Taylor Swift immediately throws her arms out and walks right up to me for a hug. And I was genuinely in such shock that I actually started walking backwards. I was like, ah! And then I caught myself and we hugged. It was insane. We were there for about 10 minutes and I can barely remember what we talked about, but she asked what kind of picture we wanted. So I say, can we get a picture like with 3 best friends at a party? And she goes, we are 3 best friends at a party. Let's jump on the couch. And I'm like, ah! So we get a picture on the couch and we're actually kind of sitting on the couch for a few minutes because we're just like trying to get a picture and stuff. And then this is the picture. And then we get our separate pictures. So these are my thoughts when trying to get a picture with Taylor Swift. Smile, but don't smile too much. Keep your eyes open, but don't look crazy. And then the flash goes off and my eyes are definitely closed. So I was like, can I please get another one? So we take another one. Then we talk to Taylor a little bit more. And as we leave, she says, see you on the internet. And that was it. I just met Taylor Swift. So people always say to me like, oh, she only did that for publicity. And like, I've had a long time to think about this. It's been 5 years. I've gone up a bit. And I really know that that wasn't the case. If she did all this for publicity, why weren't we allowed phones? Why weren't we allowed to talk about anything? Why weren't we allowed to get videos, get pictures shared all over the internet? The only thing we were allowed to say was that we were there and that we met her. That's all we were allowed to say until Reputation came out. And it only took all these years later when I'd finally opened up a bit about what happened. Taylor gave us so much trust and I would never break that. I've never said what she told us about the songs or how she made them, and I never will. People say don't meet your idols, and I say that's probably true for most celebrities. But if your idol is Taylor Swift, you should definitely try and meet her. And just when things couldn't get any better, fast forward to the Reputation Stadium tour. We're at the barrier between the two B stages, and I'm dressed in this rainbow sash, a chef's hat that says gay icon. So anyone who's at the barrier knows, Taylor has a few minutes to run from one stage to the other. But when Taylor gets to me, she has a huge smile on her face and it lights up, and then she gives me a kiss on the cheek. And then I run back to my seat and the person beside me goes, did Taylor Swift just kiss your cheek? And I was like, oh, how do you know? And it was because it was on the big screen in the Dublin Reputation Stadium tour, and I've never found it to this day. If anyone has that recording, please let me know. So that's the story about how I became a secret sessioner and met Taylor Swift. I'm going to be answering questions from the comments and on my TikTok and Instagram at Jay's Takes. Thank you for watching.